Greetings, guten tag, konnichiwa, ni hao, annyeonghaseyo, ciao, bonjour, buongiorno, alo, hola. Greetings, how's it going? I just wanted to make this video real quick while the topic was in my head. My guy over there at Emblem Arms, big shout out to Emblem Arms and Gargoyle Blades and the whole sword community, Matthew Jensen, Joey Steele over at the Steel Mindset, Scab, Donnie B all day, Scalagrim, Shadiversity. I think I'm getting them all in there. I know I'm missing a few. Anyway, what's going on, guys? But Emblem Arms was talking about Chinese blades and swords and wasn't sure if they were any good, quality, and all that such. And I just wanted to come here and talk about my experience and over the past decade or so, just dealing with, all sorts of different kinds of stuff. And I just happen to have this one right here. Now this is a dowel. It's a bit of a, it's, if this was complete here on this end here, it would be considered an oxtail dowel. This was cut off. I guess I'm going to consider this like a fantasy dowel. There might be examples of this in history, but I don't remember seeing any pictures, but I'm sure somebody can come up with stuff and show me. It very much might be a specific type of dowel in history, and they're all different types. There are some that have a katana blade. So there's just different types of dowels. But anyway, talking about the quality of these swords. So now, a lot of the times on these websites, you'll see magnesium steel or you'll see 65 MN steel. What magnesium steel? 65 magnesium steel. And what that basically means is 1065. Yeah, 1065. So T10, you know what T10 is? 1095. It's 1095. 9260 is 5160. 9260 is 5160. There's slight changes of silicone and chromium and all this other garbage, right? And that's what the Chinese are doing right now. That's where we're getting, S5 and S7 and what is it? 3VC, PM, 3VC, something, real long. You'll hear big, long name numbers. And honestly, it's all just, 1075, 1060, 1065, 1095, 1085, 1080. Those are basically the equivalents. What is it? What do I see a lot? EN 45 or 345 or something like that. And that's like an African or I think the Pakistanis use it. And I think I've seen it on Indian stuff and Nepalese stuff. I think I've seen it on, what are the others? Nepalese, Filipino stuff. They'll use EN 45 something or ENL 45, something like that, but it's 1045. It's 1045 steel. Now, that's not saying 1045 is crap. 1045 can be, its max temper is 57, I believe. So you can check it, the HRC. The max temper on 1045 is 57 HRC, which is extremely good. If a 1045 is tempered to 55 HRC or 53 or 54, that's, excellent edge retention, stuff like that. Ronin Katana does extremely cheap, alloy fittings, stuff like that, 1045 blades, and they're all tempered very well. Matthew Jensen has done he has done numerous reviews on swords, but he has done reviews on the Ronin Katana 1045 blades, and they perform great, magnificent. Edge retention, come to find out, has nothing to do with the temper and everything to do with the angle of the edge. A lot of the steel is fine on Chinese swords, right? This steel is fine. I could chop somebody's head off with this. Where I'm going to come into trouble is the handle. This is a fake, this is a super fake leather. It's almost silky fake leather. There is a silkiness to it. You know, this is a fake ray skin. It's very rubbery. These are alloy fittings. Now this is fitted with a pin. I'm sure the tang goes well enough into this because of the weight, even though the weight it is 7 inches out. But that's also because of the design of this. This is designed to be a head chopper. You know what I'm saying? This is designed to cut off heads and chop wood. You know. But how it's forward from. There's like a curvature forward, so it's all about. Oh yeah. I chop your head. I cut your head. I squish your head. I squish your head. I squish your head. But that's what it's about. But the Chinese, as far as my experience in talking to them and the manufacturing stuff, they don't really sell a lot of Chinese swords. So they're not going to spend a lot of money on the handles and things like that to be made out of brass or iron, steels, stuff like that. People just consider these wires, when actually they're entirely fine. Now this is a 65 MN. This is Hero Sword. 65 MN magnesium steel blade, which just means 1065. It's just a 1065 steel blade, which is fine and great. And yeah, I absolutely think that the Chinese swords don't get much love, and they definitely deserve to get a lot more love and a lot more credit because they are freaking sweet. And the Chinese should put more care and love into their own national sword types. Absolutely. Even if people don't buy them as much, because then when they do buy them, whatever, they're going to be sweet and nice. And then people will be, oh my god, these swords are awesome, blah, blah, blah. We just don't see people using them as much. Price points. You're not going to find a Chinese sword with brass fittings and stuff for under $500. Maybe. I mean, it's going to, $300 to $500, even $300. I've seen a lot of Chinese swords that are priced at $300 and $400, and they were alloy fittings and stuff like that. So it's, LK Chen. LK Chen stuff is all expensive. That's all. Many of their Chinese swords, unless it's like some little dinky thing or something like that, is going to be, that's going to be like $200, $300. So a nice Chinese sword's going to run you $500. A nice Chinese swords with good fittings, good construction, something you want to take in about. Somebody was talking the other day about trunk swords, like what sword would you have in your trunk if the apocalypse went down, you're out in your car, and you only had one weapon, right, to get you back to the house, or what you needed to do to get to safety or get you where you needed to go to get the rest of your belongings and stuff. What kind of trunk sword would you have? And yeah, I don't know. Chinese swords. I mean, this is a bad mamma jamma, if I were to take this all apart and make the construction better, I would definitely. It's a one-edged blade, but that's all right. This is still hefty. We're cleaving zombies heads off. We're chopping zombies in half, chopping them down the middle. 4 millimeters all the way through, no distal taper whatsoever. It is the grind is, it's like a big knife grind where there's a flat here and then it goes into the actual edge. Big fat knife grind, I guess, I don't know. And then I put on a secondary bevel. I'm not going to do a full review of this sword or anything because I've already opened the package. I've had this sword for enough time. I've messed with it. I've cleaned up the edge so it wouldn't be representative of what you would actually get if you went to Hero Sword and bought it from their website. Anyway, all right. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.